So in today's speech, I'll be talking about Elizabeth Cady Stanton and her speech of the destructive male. So a world without equality and balance is something that is very tough to imagine. And without these elements, who knows what our society would be like today. And someone that has helped our society become the way it is today is Elizabeth Cady Stanton. So a little bit about Elizabeth is that she was born in 1815 and she passed away in 1902. She, for most of her life, was a women's rights activist, and according to historyplace.com article called Elizabeth Cady Stanton, The Destructive Male, Stanton worked tirelessly for more than half a century to obtain voting rights for American women. But sadly, she passed away, like I said, in 1902, only a few years before the law was passed for women to vote. She was very involved in the women's movement and even helped form the very first women's rights convention in Seneca Falls. And she also helped form the NWSA, which is known as the National Women's Suffrage Association. And since she helped form it, she even became president. Since she was so involved, she would travel around the country and trying to promote women's suffrage. And since she was traveling, she was at a women's suffrage convention in Washington, D.C., which is where she gave the destructive male speech. And this was in 1868. In the article, The Destructive Male, it states that Stanton commanded her audience's attention with a firm request for an additional amendment that would gain women the right to vote. She gave the speech in hopes to gain voting rights and bring up the social and political destructiveness of males in our country. This speech was also very important because she wanted men and women to be seen as equals, because back then men were seen as being superior, and she didn't want that anymore. She wanted men and women, like I said, to be equal. So she argued that women have different characteristics, such as love, morality, and virtue, that could possibly help men empower and steer them away from being violent and destructive. And in the speech, Elizabeth personified mercy by stating, "Mercy has veiled her face." When she uses this saying, she's saying that mercy is hiding her face away from society, just like women are hidden from society. In that specific time period, in order for society to progress, women needed to be able to vote and have a say for there to be balance between men and women. This speech began a big debate on whether or not women should be allowed to participate in political activities and just having a say in our society. This speech was significant because she was bringing up the issue on how women's suffrage was very tough and how it was not fair to women or beneficial to society. She believed this because if women were equal, then society would be more peaceful. This made many people rethink the way our society was shaped and how they thought it was time for a change. This speech helped promote a better society, and even though things did not change immediately, it definitely raised awareness for the issue and attracted many more people and supporters to the women's rights movement. Although it does not seem like a speech could dramatically impact our society in any way, it definitely did help make big strides towards a better future for our country and our society and women in our society. This speech was important because society as a whole needed to become better, and it definitely helped. And without many people being on board with the equality, who knows what our equality in our society today would be like. And thanks to Elizabeth Cady Stanton, she definitely helped improve the balance and equality of men and women in our society.